Prime time local news, serving the Lakeland and Midwest regions.
Turning to local news now, the Lloydminster RCMP have charged a Lashburn man following 2 incidents this week. On Monday, police responded to reports of a man committing an indecent act at the BioClean Aquatic Center. Police have charged 45-year-old S.B. Habitler of Lashburn with an indecent act and mischief. A justice of the peace released Habitler the following day with conditions. A short while later, RCMP located Habitler outside of a Lloydminster daycare, which is a breach of his conditions of release. He was arrested, and after appearing in court yesterday, he was released once again as he awaits an April court date. RCMP believe there may be additional victims and encourage anyone with information to contact police. The city of Lloydminster is in phase 1 of enhancing its downtown core with upgrades to underground infrastructure and improvements to the overall aesthetic of the city. Reese Andrews has more.
Phase 1 of the Central Businesses District Replacement Program includes the replacement of existing water, sewer, and storm mains, sidewalk and concrete curb and gutter replacements, and an installation of street furnishing features including benches, trees, and improved street lighting.
And our downtown just needs a little bit of a pick-me-up just in terms of beautification. There's underground infrastructure that needs to be replaced. And really this is the start of a big project that we undertook a few years ago when we did the downtown area redevelopment plan, and this is really our first shot at starting to implement some of the key recommendations of that.
And we're going to tackle this one piece at a time. Ideally, we'd love to do more of it, but we also realize there's a disruption to businesses, people's flow of traffic and things like that.
As a part of a multi-year project with 5 phases, including an A and B side, the Downtown Rejuvenation Project will be underway for a minimum of 10 years.
We have to be realistic with how much we do at any given time with budget, with how much pressure you're putting on downtown businesses that may have to close their doors for a period of time, or have to use rear alley access or something along those lines. So, we have to be realistic with how quickly we do this. So whether it takes 10 or 20 years is hard to say, but at the end of the day, we're setting the standard of something that's going to be beautiful and it's going to attract people to our downtown. It's going to be a real gem in our city.
The city hopes that this project will enhance Lloydminster's downtown area and add to the public experience. Reese Andrews, Primetime, Local News.
And now it's time for us to check in with Shelby Clark, who has a look at our evening weather forecast.
Thank you so much there, Mr. Jace Mackey. Yes, now taking a first look at your weather forecast here in the border city. Definitely looking at some beautiful conditions, I would say. We are just sitting at -3, so still in those minus areas, of course, as you know, we are going through March here, kind of expected, but definitely seeing a lot warmer conditions. With that wind chill just feeling around -9, so not even quite hitting those double digits quite yet, and we are seeing a mixture of some sun and clouds. So looking at a lot more sun peeking behind those clouds throughout the day, which is definitely warming some things up. Looking at our school day forecast for tomorrow, we're going to be starting off slightly cooler for all the kiddos out there as they head to school with -14 to -11. And by the time the school day is out, past lunchtime and the day out, -6. So even warming up to that single digit once again as they kind of sit through class and everything. They'll be seeing a beautiful day once they get out there. Switching over to temperatures across the region for Alberta and Saskatchewan. On the Alberta side, we are definitely warming up in those temperatures as we have been seeing throughout the week. Most spots are kind of matching with us here in the border city, seeing between -2 to -4 degrees. And then we got some that are slightly warmer. -1 there for St. Paul as well as down in Provost, hitting those 0 marks for Wainwright and over in Vegreville. Looking at that 1 degree mark up in Lac La Biche, and of course over in Edmonton, seeing that nice warm 4 degree mark. So slightly warmer in Edmonton compared to the rest of these spots. Switching over to our Saskatchewan side, unfortunately, they are looking a lot cooler compared to our Alberta side as they are kind of continuing that cool streak that they have been seeing throughout the week. They are still seeing for most spots those single digits, which is nice for those minus areas. And then we have some with Meadow Lake and up in Isle Cross minus 10, so they have just hit those double digits. So slightly cooler for sure on our Saskatchewan side, but meanwhile most spots are seeing between -4 to -6 or 7 degrees. Seems to be the common pattern with North Battleford just sitting at -7. But North Battleford will be going down to a low of -20 for their evening low, so cooling down quite a bit for their evening low temperatures. They are just hitting that -20 area. They won't be seeing anything too crazy for condition wise. It will be a calm evening. It will be quite cold, but they will be just seeing some cloudier conditions. Then tomorrow -7 for their daytime high, so expecting that single digit for their daytime high tomorrow, and expecting a lot more sunshine peeking behind those clouds. That'll help warm some things up. Cold Lake will be going out to low -18 for their evening low, so expecting those double digits and almost hitting that low of -20, so cooling down quite a bit. Won't be seeing any high chances of some flurries, but that will make up for it tomorrow on their Friday with that 1 degree mark for their daytime high and seeing some sunnier conditions. So Cold Lake is expecting a beautiful Friday indeed. For us here in the border city, we will be going down to low of -16, so we will be cooling down by quite a bit from what we are sitting at, although we won't be seeing too high of a wind chill, so we'll be probably sitting around -16 to -17 for our evening low temperature. We'll be won't be expecting a high chance of some flurries, and then we will be looking at -4 for our daytime high tomorrow. So for our Friday, we aren't quite hitting that plus degree mark yet, but still seeing that single digit, so expecting a mixture of some sun and clouds, so please make sure to get out there and enjoy it as we start off our weekend. And now looking at our 3-day forecast, so saying we are going to be seeing not too bad of a day tomorrow for our Friday, -4. Then Saturday, Sunday, be prepared for a beautiful weekend ahead because we are just hitting that -1 for both Saturday and Sunday and a mixture of some sun and cloud. And that's all I have for now. For a first look at your weather forecast.
The break, more on a high-stakes showdown between a former senior Canadian military commander and the federal government. And turning to sports now, the Lakeland Wrestlers women's volleyball team won the Canadian Collegiate Athletic Association Championship. We take you now to an interview our Thomas Wildman did with one of the players.
Today we have Jana Lang, a member of the Lakeland Wrestlers women's volleyball team and your CKSA champions women's volleyball team. They won nationals just this past weekend. And so congratulations to you, Jana, and thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
And so, Jenna, tell me a little bit about nationals and the higher level of play that you would see there, taking on other teams. You guys played exclusively teams in Alberta this year in league play. Tell me about playing teams across the country.
Well, I think because everyone comes from like the top of their conference, like the level of play is so much higher. So we obviously prepared for that. And then the way the teams like run their offense and the way they have their defensive systems are kind of different from what we are normally playing against. So that was interesting to see, and how we adapted was good. So that was good.
And so, Jenna, it was a really close finals game, and it ended in almost storybook fashion with an amazing shot by Janae Varga. Tell me about that shot, and just tell me about the whole scene and how excellent it was to win the national championship and how amazing the feeling was.
It was very surreal. Like, I think the whole time we were just, I don't know, that last point, it just like felt so perfect, and it just made sense that that was how it was going to end, with Janae killing the ball, and she just did it so well. And yeah, it was just a surreal moment. It still doesn't feel like it actually happened, but it was so amazing. And then to be surrounded by all my teammates that are my best friends was just something I could have never dreamed of.
And then when you guys returned home, you got off the bus, you guys had the banners, and then a lot of your friends and family were there at the gym, and they all welcomed you, and it was a really awesome moment on Twitter there. Tell me about that moment and how it felt to, you know, have the community be there for you guys and celebrating your victory.
It was just so cool and so cute to see that they had came out and like supported us, welcomed us off the bus. You know, the community around us means so much to us. So that was really nice to have and to see, and just so welcoming, and just further made the moment so much more special.
And then one of the really cool things about your guys' team, you guys had no graduating players, and so a good majority of your team will be coming back next year. Tell me a little bit about what you're looking forward to next season and being able to come back with all those girls that you won the national championship with.
I think it'll be super cool. I think everyone's going to have the same motivation, and everyone's going to be excited to see what we can do again. But obviously there'll be a lot of pressure on us to maintain what we've done this season. But I think everyone's pretty excited and just knows that we can be the best again. So that's exciting to have that.
Thank you so much, Jenna, for being with us today, and another congratulations to you and the team. You've made the Lakeland area very proud.
Oh, thank you so much for having me.
And 4 local kids from Lloydminster have recently won provincials in Saskatchewan for bowling. Our Callan Dunlop has more.
The Saskatchewan Bantam Provincial Championship took place this past week, with both the boys and girls team from Lloyd taking the win.
So it was a doubles team competition, and what happens there is they go and they're playing against everybody else across the province of Saskatchewan, because we actually bowl out of Saskatchewan, and they took first place and managed to go on to nationals now.
Winning provincials and moving on to nationals brings a newfound sense of pride to the kids.
It's really awesome to represent Saskatchewan and all of Canada.
With nationals coming up in May, and these kids being only 10 and 11, it's only natural that nerves will come into play.
I'm super nervous, but also happy.
Do you guys think you have a shot to win?
Maybe. It depends how good the other teams are.
At the end of the day, win or lose, it's always bigger than just bowling.
That's the important thing about bowling as a coach, is watching these kids grow and develop, but also show the sportsmanship.
The teams will be practicing weekly ahead of nationals in May. Callan Dunlop, Prime Time, Local News.
That's great to see. We wish them the best of luck as they head on to nationals. Got to represent Lloydminster. Now it's time for us to check in with Shelby Clark, who has another look at your evening weather forecast.
Thank you so much again there, Mr. Jace Mackey. Now taking another extended look at your weather forecast, we will be starting off with our central zone of the provinces. Way nicer conditions that we are looking at today and what we are sitting at right now, especially on our Alberta side from what we have been seeing throughout the week. Cold Lake is still quite cool, matching more with us here in the border city as they are a bit closer there with that -5. But as we go a bit farther out over on our Alberta side, they are seeing all those plus temperatures, and it seems 4 and 5 degree mark is mostly where we are sitting at. 3 degrees for Rocky Mountain House and up in Athabasca, and Red Deer is probably the coolest compared, just at that 1 mark, but still seeing those plus temperatures is not too bad. Switching over to our Saskatchewan side, complete switch up. Of course, they are continuing that cool streak that they have been seeing throughout the week. So all these areas are looking not only just at those minuses, but most are now seeing those double digits. -7 for North Battleford, still sitting around that area. Most are just sitting at -10 degrees, so they are just hitting those double digits. And of course, over in Melfort, just at -13. So they have cooled down quite a bit from what they have been seeing earlier on. Switching over to our northern zone, they actually have slightly warmed up on our Saskatchewan side from what they were even looking at yesterday, especially up in Uranium City and Stony Rapids, as they were seeing much cooler conditions. They are seeing the warmest now on this side, -8, -9 degrees, so they are looking at those single digits, which is very nice. And then the rest have cooled down just slightly. Most are just sitting around -11, and then we have those -12s, -13 for Southend and over in Wollaston Lake. Now going back over to our Alberta side here, they have warmed up quite a bit as well from what they were looking at yesterday, especially for Grand Prairie, as they were looking at those cool conditions throughout the week pretty heavily compared to the rest. But now they're just sitting at 4 degrees, seeing the warmest conditions on this side as well. Peace River and Slave Lake kind of following suit, just hitting those 0 marks, so they are looking slightly warmer. And the rest are seeing those minus marks, but not hitting those double digits. We got Fort McMurray, high level just at -5, and then up in Fort Chipewyan at -7. Now, as you go over to our southern zone, they actually are matching with us more now on our Alberta side compared to us in the central area. They are matching up with us a little bit more, especially with Lethbridge at 3 degrees, hitting that 2 degree over in Banff, and then hitting that 1 for Calgary and over here in Medicine Hat. So most are seeing those plus temperatures. Coronation is still looking slightly cooler, but -1 isn't something to really complain about. I'd say that's still very nice to see. Going over to our Saskatchewan side, they have cooled down slightly from what they were looking at yesterday for sure, especially over in Yorkton as they are just sitting at -12. The rest are looking at those single digits, but still slightly cooler. -6 seems to be the most popular condition over on this side. Then we have those -5s with Kindersley and now in Moose Jaw, and then Regina is kind of right in the middle there with -8. But now as you look at some overnight temperatures expecting tonight in surrounding areas, we will be cooling down slightly with these temperatures, I would say, as we are seeing with some spots hitting that -20. Isla Cross, Paradise Hill, especially with that low of -20 expected tonight. Meadow Lake will be seeing the coolest with that low of -22, and then we have a low of -16 and a low of -18 for Bonnyville and Provo. So we will be cooling down quite a bit for tonight from what we are sitting at. These spots will be almost hitting those -20s for sure, but condition-wise, will be pretty calm. It won't be any too high chances of those flurries. They will be just seeing the temperature cool down. So I wouldn't suggest any outdoor activities, but if you are and you have anything planned, make sure you are layering up and just trying to stay warm out there. Looking at our Friday here in the border city for tomorrow in our hourly forecast, we will be starting off slightly cooler with that -15, -14 right off in the morning. Mid-afternoon, that is when we will hit that daytime high around 4 p.m. hitting that -5. So we will be seeing that single digit once again. And then we will only cool down slightly to -9 tomorrow evening as we go into the weekend. Because as you will see here, we will be looking at a beautiful weekend. We will be seeing -1 Saturday and Sunday with a mixture of some sun and cloud. Please make sure to get out there and enjoy it. I know we got St. Patty's Day coming up here, so make sure, have some nice plans with your friends and family. We got some beautiful conditions, and we will be seeing these single digits and nice warm temperatures continue into next week. That's all I have for now. I'm Jace Mackey. We'll have more news coming up for you after the break. Joining us today for Primetime Local News is the Gala chairperson for the Wainwright and District Community Health Foundation Gala, Deanna Waddell. Thank you so much for joining us today, Deanna.
Thank you for having me, Shelby.
Really excited to have you on here because the Annual Health Foundation, the Gala is coming up pretty quick here in Wainwright. Now, what exact year has it been now for this?
The year we've been having galas for at least 25 years.
And I know for all your previous events, you've been doing a different theme each year, and it's always really fun and exciting. So what's the theme for this year's gala?
For sure. Under the Sea is our theme this year, and there's lots of great planning that's being going on behind the scenes, and it will be a fantastic event.
And each year, this gala helps out with something very important in the community, especially helping out with the Wainwright Hospital. Now, what exactly is the proceeds being directed toward exactly for this year's gala?
The proceeds will all go toward long-term air pressure beds for the Wainwright Hospital.
Well, I'm sure you'll be seeing some nice, strong support as you always do, because how has that support been for previous years? Would you say it's always been strong?
We have amazing support from our community and beyond. And it's just amazing to see from the smallest child, doing a lemonade stand till a large donation. And it's just amazing to see how the community comes together for projects such as this and for other projects that we've done in the past.
Perfect. And for details on the event exactly, for anybody wondering, can you kind of expand on when and where it's going to be?
Yes, the event will be held in Wainwright at the PMM, which is the Peace Memorial Arena. It is going to be held in the Green Arena, and it will be held on April 22nd. That's a Saturday. Doors open at 5 o'clock.
And we were already kind of talking a little bit about this with, what's left for tickets and tables and whatnot for this year's event. So can you kind of expand on that once again?
I'm really happy to tell you all that we're basically sold out. We do have one table, however, left for the next person that would like to buy a bed, because our project this year is the long-term beds, and they will cost $7,500 per bed. So that's the table we're saving for that next bed to be sold.
All right. So now for anybody wanting to find some more information about this gala and on the foundation and just wanting to find some more information when it comes to the event coming up here, where can they look online?
They can look at the Wainwright and District Community Health Foundation website, and that is just use the wdchf.com.
Awesome, Deanna. Well, thank you so much once again for joining us today. Really glad to help get the word out there. And is there anything else you want to add on that I may have missed out on for this gala?
I just want you all to know many thanks for all the donations that have come in so far for this year and over the years. And I also want to say, please call in. You can call me if you have questions or if you would like to go on a waiting list for this year's gala. And my phone number is 780-842-0798.
Awesome. Once again, thank you so much for joining us today, Deanna. And yes, perfect for anybody out there interested. You know what to do.
Okay, thanks very much, Shelby.
Furniture set and design supplied by Furniture Gallery and Furniture House, downtown Lloydminster.
I'm happy to be joined here again with Jenna Berold-Cleary from the Lloydminster Museum and Archives. And there's a super fun and interesting event coming up at the end of March. It is all about astronomy and the stars, but it's an interpretation from Indigenous culture of the night sky. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you very much for having me here today.
Of course. Now, astronomy is one of the oldest sciences, and throughout many different types of cultures, there's always a different way to interpret the night sky through constellations, through star patterns. Now, at the museum, you'll be learning about the Indigenous interpretation of the night sky. Tell me a little bit about that and what the evening will entail.
Of course, yes. So we are very, very happy to host Jennifer Howes. Jennifer Howes is from the Rothney Astrophysical Observatory in Calgary. And so she is the education specialist there. So she has taught members of the public, she has taught a bunch of youth all about Indigenous interpretations of the night sky. And so some of the things that she has, the information she has provided us with is that in addition to 16 years of experience with answering big concept questions to young learners, she's also grateful for learning from Indigenous elders and knowledge keepers. Astronomy is one of the oldest sciences, and it is fundamental to the traditional conscience of the Indigenous peoples of Canada. Jennifer is a proud member of the Métis Nation, and she will be sharing Blackfoot and Cree perceptions of celestial motion. And so with this class, we are going to listen to a very exciting presentation from her. And then as long as it is nice and clear outside, we are going to be going outside, taking a peek through a telescope and observing the night sky based on Indigenous interpretations of it.
Now, you mentioned a little bit before we started that you will also be doing schools as going to schools as well. Tell me a little bit about that and what the kids who will get involved will kind of learn.
Of course, yeah. So we are proud to host her here at the museum over the course of 3 days. And so it is a combination of a presentation done by Jennifer herself and a tour as well. And so far we have over 200 students coming on those 3 days, and they will get a very exciting learning opportunity through that.
Which is amazing. And I mentioned off camera that astronomy is so interesting, no matter what culture or background that you have or how you learned about it. It's so interesting to learn about. And like you said, it is one of the oldest sciences, so there's always so much to learn, and it's super exciting. Now, the evening event March 23rd. Tell me a little bit about that and how it will work to buy tickets, to what times it will be or what time it will be at, and kind of that aspect.
Of course, yes. So as you said, March 23rd. So that is next Thursday evening, and it runs from 7 until 9 p.m. It is for all ages. So families are welcome to come, seniors are welcome to come. We welcome everybody. The cost is just $10 per person. And to register, you can go online to lloydminster.ca/register. Or if you need some assistance with that, you can give us a call at 780-874-3720. And it will occur here right at the Lloydminster Museum and Archives.
Awesome. Well, this sounds like it's going to be an amazing learning opportunity, especially if astronomy is something that you're very interested in, or just to learn more about it in a different from a different culture. I think that's amazing that the Lloyd Museum has these programs offered to the public to learn more about topics that you may already be interested in, but a different spin on it, which is amazing. So thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you so much for allowing me to speak on your show today.
Of course.
Ending off with another quick look at your 7-day forecast. We will be expecting another beautiful day tomorrow. We aren't expecting too much sun peeking behind those clouds, but you never know, it might switch up with -4. We will be warming up just in time for the weekend, -1 both Saturday and Sunday. And I know it's St. Paddy's Day this weekend, so please make sure to get out there and enjoy it. Hang out with your friends and family, have a great time, because we have some beautiful conditions ahead for the weekend. And that will even continue into next week. We're looking at -2 starting off on Monday, seeing those single digits continue on with -6 Tuesday, and even getting back to that -3 and -1 next Wednesday and Thursday. And be prepared, because you never know if this might switch up compared to previous years. So make sure to get out there and take advantage.
All right, thank you so much for that, Shelby. One request, if we could get one day that's above 0, I would really appreciate that, but just keep it up. Thank you so much for joining us for this edition of Primetime Local News. We'll see you again tomorrow. Have a good night.